In this video, we are going to take a look at a case where a trail in both the US Geological Survey data and the US Forest data stops 800 feet short of its true destination. This is the Round Mountain Summit Trail, otherwise known as the Round Mountain Summit Adventure Trail or simply the Round Mountain Trail. It is off of US Highway 34 in the Big Thompson Canyon. That is west of the city of Loveland and east of the town of Estes Park in Colorado. I have the data from the USGS in yellow with a green casing overlaid on the OpenStreetMap tiles. I'm going to turn on the data from the Forest Service. It'll show up in red with a black casing, and you can see that for all intents and purposes they are the same, which isn't surprising because the USGS is ingesting data from agencies like the Forest Service. But if we zoom in here, you'll notice that the trails do not, as depicted by these two sources, do not go to the summit. And this is a good time to point out a rather interesting fact is even though it's called the Round Mountain Summit Trail, it actually goes to the summit of Sheep Mountain. I guess Round Mountain is kind of an alternate name. And certainly from Loveland looking west, the mountain looks very round. So that distance is about 800 feet. So, not inconsequential there. So you might be saying, well, maybe OpenStreetMap has the summit in the wrong location. So here's the USGS 3D elevation program data. And you can see that the summit is somewhere over here as depicted by OpenStreetMap. This is a scanned image of the old USGS topo maps, and you can see again that the summit is approximately where OpenStreetMap has depicted. Now you might be saying, well, maybe the trail really doesn't go to the summit of Sheep Mountain. So I've hiked and ran this trail many times, most recently in August of 2023, this year, August 21st. And in hot pink there are the GPS traces from my run. Let's take a look at what everybody else is doing with the Strava heat map. It shows up in blue, and you can see everybody else is also going to the summit and a little bit beyond. And the reason for that is that there are no views at the summit. You have to actually go a little bit past the summit to actually get some halfway decent views. Finally, here is an official document from the Forest Service. Note that it says this little elevation graph shows that it goes to the summit of Sheep Mountain. And then later on it says the trail to the summit travels through several granite outcroppings, blah, blah, blah. So obviously the Forest Service intends the trail to go to the summit, and actually physically it does, I can tell you from having been to the summit many times. Cotrex has this trail correct. You can see it goes to the summit, or pretty darn close. Another interesting thing is that Cotrex does a better job at depicting the trail's location along its entire length. You can see here where there's a divergence, and the Cotrex follows the OpenStreetMap depiction fairly closely there. And we prove that with the Strava heat map. And you can see that the green, which is the Cotrex, follows the heat map more closely. And that's true further on here as well, where there's a discrepancy. So in summary, both the US Geological Survey data and the US Forest Service data does not show the trail going fully to the summit of Sheep Mountain as the trail actually does.